I've met with many folks as we finished Springfield. We did a lot of tremendous work in Springfield this last session. I don't think many of us who are in the General Assembly realize the extent of work we had done, from passing the fair tax to raising the minimum wage to putting people back to work with a capital program, to funding education, to funding social service agencies that were decimated for the last 4 years. It has been my honor to continue to serve you and to hear from all of you. I can tell you, all of the elected officials who serve in my district, I've had many conversations about different issues that are impacting different projects they would like to see funded. As many of you have reached out to me, talking to me about the many issues that impact your communities. One of the things when I met with Imam recently, he talked about how we need to educate our communities to diversity and the importance of diversity, to be a welcoming community. And I continue to do that and will continue to do that. But I wanted to keep this brief because I know there's a lot of different elected officials here who are here to speak, as well as my colleague, Ron Villaval, who I serve on the caucus, the Asian American caucus, as we talk about different legislation that impacts all of you. I look forward to continuing to serve you. I look forward to continuing to serve you in the future. Thank you all for being here, and thank you for welcoming and the diversity that makes Illinois great. Thank you.
I would like to.
You can stand here. Yeah,
Here?
just better.
Here we go.
Yeah,
Right.
much better lighting and stuff. Yeah, yeah. Please, that's good. This way. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Senator. I would like to invite next Senator, our very first own from Indian descent, Ram Velivalam. I don't know what to talk about him. I'm on the board with IADO, Indian American Democratic Organization. He is a go-getter. Ram.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. As Nazneen mentioned, my name is Ram Velivalam. It's always good to go to a place where they pronounce your name right. You know they're going to do it right. I'm the state senator for the 8th district in the state of Illinois. Encompasses about 21 neighborhoods in the city of Chicago, from Montrose Avenue North, past Devon, all of Devon Avenue, Lincolnwood, Skokie, Niles, Morton Grove, Glenview, unincorporated Des Plaines. Yes, there's a lot of Indian people there on Devon Avenue in those areas. Thank you to Senator Castro for giving me a temporary visa to be in the 22nd district today. I appreciate that. I honestly, I wasn't given certain remarks to make, so it's a little dangerous because I can say whatever I want. I will start by saying my story starts with my parents. Like many of you, they came to this country in the 1970s. My dad was an engineer in India, my mom was a teacher, but they couldn't get those jobs when they first got here. They had to work as a dishwasher and cashier for $2.30 an hour. And by the time I was born, they were able to go back to school and get degrees here, like many of you all have had to do. And then they finished with over 25 years of careers in public service. Their struggle, though, is something that I will never forget, and is what drives me every single day, because I know there are families arriving here on Devon Avenue and elsewhere that are facing that same struggle. There are people that are trying to go to the middle class that live in my district, Lincolnwood, Skokie, etc. And it's my job, it's our job, to make it a little easier, right? We're not talking about a handout, we're talking about a hand up and a push forward. That's what we're trying to do. When I decided to enter politics, the South Asians in the room can relate. My parents were like, "What is that? Is that a career?" First have I heard of it. My brother, he did a 6-year medical program. He skipped 2 years of college, became a doctor, did his residency at Cook County. My sister went to Brown University, got her master's in education, and then there was me. I wanted to go into politics. But I wanted to do it because our community, and again, many of you can relate, we've been so successful in other career paths, whether it's the medical profession, the IT profession, engineering profession, small business, and so forth. And I wanted to move forward because every profession that has issues that we deal with is involved in the political and legislative process in some form or fashion. And so I said, we need to have our seat at the table. And so I started my work with the Indo-American Democratic Organization, which has been around since 1980. But I decided to run for office. I became the first Asian American elected to the state Senate, the first Indian American elected to the Illinois General Assembly. So I'm one of 3 actual Asian Americans in the Illinois General Assembly. So it's a little lonely. But it's not that lonely because I've been welcomed. I've been welcomed in the state Senate, in the Illinois General Assembly, like we want to welcome people here in the state of Illinois. I want to especially thank the Senate President Cullerton and Senator Castro for welcoming me into the Senate and working with me on our issues. So please, let's give them a round of applause. And I say that because I'm one person in the Senate. The Senate President, I feel at times, as Senator Castro was alluding to, he has almost an impossible job because he leads over, about 40 people in our caucus. And you all can imagine, we come from different backgrounds, different districts. We have different issues that we want to lead on, but he has the responsibility to bring all of us together, and it's a tremendous responsibility. And I don't know how he still has hair, quite frankly, but he does. He might have more hair than me. But I want to thank both of them, and I just want to take a moment, and I don't want to take too much time, but I guess I wanted to make my role here about what we were able to accomplish. A lot of discussion has happened in terms of the type of session we've had, historic session with all that we were able to accomplish. But I wanted to just note a few items that the Asian American Caucus, Senator Castro, who's a part of it in the Senate, Senator Laura Murphy, others, we were able to accomplish a great deal. The first, important issue that we all have to work on is the census. We all have to make sure that everyone's counted. And we worked with the governor. The governor signed an executive order on Thursday. If we undercount Illinois' population by 1%, we will lose $120 million annually funding for every single thing that you can imagine. And that's really dangerous. And so what was our role? Our role in the Asian American Caucus was to say, look, Asian Americans are 6% of the population. We want to make sure we're not undercounted. We want to make sure we're accurately counted. But also, we're a hard-to-count community because we have over 100 different languages. So when you knock on someone's door and they don't speak English necessarily, or they speak it well, we want to make sure we're able to communicate in their specific language. So that was the first piece that we were able to move forward on. When it comes to business, we've been able to make sure that our voices have been heard. Make sure, for example, that minority contractors, women contractors, veteran-owned contractors get paid in a more timely manner. They're often the ones that are the small businesses. The corporations, they're able to kind of withstand the cash flow when they're not paid on time. It's not necessarily right. We have to improve there as well. But the small businesses are the engines of our economy. And those are mostly many minority-owned, women-owned, veteran-owned, and we did our job to make sure that they are getting paid more on time. And I'll just add there, if anything I could say on the jobs front, or the business front, we created so many jobs in this past session. And whether it's gaming expansion, cannabis industry, a capital bill, those hundreds of thousands of jobs that will have an impact on all of our local economies and help all of the South Asian American small businesses in our state. And lastly, we worked hard on making sure that we were funding human services. When as I grow up, as many of you, I was always taught two things by my parents. make sure we take care of our elderly, people with disabilities, the most vulnerable in our society at all costs. That's why, you know, I respect people that are elder. It's so weird when I go to events, they call me sir. I'm like 20 years younger than you. You don't have to call me sir. But I say that because that's how we grew up. That's the values that were instilled in me, and also make sure that our kids get a quality education. And so to that end, we were able to secure $40 million towards the community care program, which is home care for low-income seniors. And there's over 15 Asian American organizations that provide that care to our seniors. And in addition, we were able to secure increases to education, K-12 and higher ed, which again is important to our community. So I just wanted to give you that brief update on what we were able to accomplish overall, but also specifically for the Asian American community. I could not be more proud to be in the Illinois Senate, to have the honor of being the first. But most importantly, I could not, we need 30 votes in the Senate, 60 in the House, and the governor to sign it. I could not do this without my colleagues, and I want to thank the Senate President, Senator Castro, and others in the Senate Democratic Caucus who have really helped me pass our Asian American legislative agenda in Springfield. So with that, thanks again for having me, and I look forward to talking with many of you and working together.
I would like to invite Ghulam Syed to give a shawl to Senator Ram Villival. Now I would like to invite Sarah Qadri. She will do a hamd and a naat. What is a hamd? It's singing in praise of God. And what's a naat? It's something about in praise of Prophet Muhammad. Sarah Qadri, she has started doing this in the last 5 years. Hello, everyone.
मेरी रब कहाँ पे नहीं है तू, मेरी रब कहाँ पे नहीं है तू, तेरी शान जल्ला जलालहू, तेरे ज़र्रे ज़र्रे में है नमू, तेरी शान जल्ला जलालहू, तेरी कुदरतों का शुमार क्या, तेरी वसअतों का हिसाब क्या, तेरी कुदरतों अजीम है, तू ही मेरा रब्बे करीम है, तेरे फैज़ फैज़ आमीम है, तू ही मेरा रब्बे करीम है, मेरे दिल में है तेरी आरज़ू, मेरे दिल में है तेरी आरज़ू, तेरी शान जल्ला
तमन्ना मुद्दतों से है जमाले मुस्तफा देखूं तमन्ना